Hey friends, welcome to another episode of Ordinary Heroes. I have a friend of mine here, Fernando Higuera. Fernando and I actually were born and raised in Mexico. We met in college, became friends, and grew apart. But it wasn't until about 2020 that Fernando was going through a tough time, and somehow we reconnected. We started talking about hobbies and sports. And one of the things that I was doing at the time is earning for a 100-mile ride. And I told him about that, and he got intrigued. He purchased a bike and we started the sport together. 4 months later, we were riding 100 miles together and we finished the ride. And ever since, we became really close. Over the last 2 years, he has experienced transition with jobs, cities, family, transitions that have been challenging to the point of very low times. In fact, for about 10 months, he did not have a job, but he never gave up. He created companies and an app that leverages artificial intelligence. I admire him for his creativity. Last year, something happened. He reconnected with God in a very powerful way. Today, let's talk about some lessons he has learned and how strong adversity has helped him focus and create opportunities for his future. And I trust that you can take a couple of nuggets for your growth as well. So, Fernando, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
So, hey, I know you really well, but for those who don't know you and I meeting you for the first time, Fernando, tell us, who are you? Not just what you do, but what has shaped you into the man you have become today?
I believe that I was a machine, that I can push myself, that I can mute my feelings, that I could not be human and look at the world and say like, hey, I just gotta go and do something different. For a very long time, I set myself aside to be like, I am here to just build things, to follow what I've been told to. And it wasn't until recent that I went into that journey of understanding who I am. When things got dark, and boy, things had got dark for me to the point that I almost felt that I was absolutely in the light. But one way or another, I got reminded of you have been made for great things. You have been made in a very specific way because while you don't see it, others are affected by what you do and by how you do and by how you radiate that energy. So truly to put it into who I am, I'm here to give more than what I take. It really started when I was in London after being burned out from work, and I saw this graveyard of the guy who discovered Tutankhamun's in his inscriptions. He was an explorer, but most important, he wanted to give back to the world. So I think, and I believe that that is part of me. Like I been put into places and I've been built in a way, no matter how painful it is sometimes, you just have to find that energy because I was given that energy to push forward and transmit that energy to others that they may not see it. And how I do it, sometimes it comes through jokes, memes that we just send to each other or putting products that like are meant to change even emotional state. Really, like that was one of the things I built the AI product for myself, but I saw an extreme value for others. And something that we never talk about it. Mental health has been a taboo topic, and that's part of what I believe that I was made for. Like, hey, just don't run it as a taboo. Do something different. Build something with intent, with direction. And it really is not for profit. Just try to help people out. So that's me.
You mentioned sometimes of seasons of hardship, major professional uncertainty, job transitions, long stretches without work, and moments where the future was not clear. What was the hardest part, you think, of that season internally?
The hardest part is how it affected my family. It's the people that you love the most, how they feel it, how they are affected by it. And the worst part, it really is because as much as you try to change it, you really can't change the economy. You really can't change society. It's a lot. And I know like even for 10 months for me, but there has been other people that they are going for 24 months or even more without seeing progress in their careers. And it puts into perspective of what do I do next? Did I
Mhm.
choose the wrong career? Did I do the wrong decisions? I mean, it completely obliterates the definition of your persona.
Yeah. So looking back, how do you see God using that difficult season to get your attention, reshape your priorities, especially in ways you may have resisted if life had been comfortable?
That's a good one. I think I see it this way. My upbringings were not the greatest. I think I experienced Christianity on the extreme side, and it didn't equate too well with me. There was at some point in my life that I considered myself an agnostic, that I believe that there's science and science is all, and that's what you see, and that's the definition of we don't understand, and that's what we call it God. And my parents have an incredible faith themselves, and sometimes they just, as any human, their faith could also be small or it could be big. But what brought me to this point, and I connecting the dots, looking backwards, what I can see, what I can understand, it really is that now that I have kids, now that I have two tiny humans that they look after me, that they are dependent on me to guide them into the future, to guide them into their belief system, I had to go to the fire. I had to go through that purification process. I needed to build my own faith. I needed to rebuild my
Mhm.
faith system and what I believe and why I believe and what I believe. And I started to understand the purpose. Like when Job lost everything,
Mhm.
he lost the things that he didn't need, the friends that he didn't need. He lost the perspective that he didn't need. He had everything in this world. He had the riches. He has the family. Lost everything. I've been stripped down from absolutely everything. Changes the way that you actually develop your faith.
Mhm.
And that was for me a time to actually recenter my focus into why I believe what I believe. What does that look like? What does that mean? And start creating the foundation. So that way, when my kids are at the age that we get to start sharing and teaching them their belief system, I have something that is that they can actually that they have seen, that they have experienced, that I can point to and said, "This were the hard times, this were the situations, and you were there." And even in the difficult, you had food on the table, you had a bed that you could sleep on, you had clothes, and we were fine. Not because of me, but because there was a greater provision in our lives that we cannot understand. And we call that the divine providence of God. And this is why we will leave it. So I started to see those points. I started to understand like it was needed. It was a purification process. It was the rite of passage, sort of. But I also understand that it wasn't just one off. It's going to keep happening. It's going to keep
Yeah.
happening because once you process, you put, I wouldn't, I don't consider myself gold. I think I'm less than copper or some other rare air material in this world. Uh, but the illustration is once you are in the fire, you're there because you are being shaped.
Mhm.
Like you're
Mhm.
becoming a true instrument. You don't put iron in the forge just for the sake of it. You have a purpose for it. You have
Mhm.
an idea in mind. You're going to turn it into a weapon. You're going to turn it into a tool.
Mhm.
That's what you put it in the forge. And that's what I understand. It didn't feel great. Still, I'm still battling the scars from it,
Yeah.
but I know that it was the purpose and that the purpose is not going to stop. I just understanding that I've been given grace. And at the same time, there is a purpose for it. And I can see it. It's just a matter of improving and just building on that faith.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And it's such a good point that it's not going to be okay. You go through a hard time and then you're done. It's just shaping you for the next one, and it's just very sobering to think about that. So in the middle of all the challenges that you have faced recently, instead of shutting down,
Mhm.
you began creating companies, ideas. I remember talking with you, like, what are you doing? And even you made an AI driven app. What do you think adversity unlocked in you that comfort never could? Using adversity to create something.
I was actually reading this last week. Like even in the 12 tribes, there was a tribe dedicated for builders. Like there was the
Yeah.
building tribe. Like you were dedicated to build the walls of the city. You were dedicated to build the tools for battle and things like for that. I think some of us were just built for that level of like, hey, look, I'm just gonna give you enough knowledge and curiosity, push the boundaries
Hmm.
because I have a plan for you that will benefit other people as well, and it will benefit my mission. Um, for me, it really like I just needed the help, and we don't talk about this. And growing up, and especially in the Christian circles that I grew up, mental health was called a thing of the devil. Like, no, you have prayer, you pray, and that's how you don't ever need to visit a psychologist or a therapist because you have God and there's prayer. But at the same time, it says that He created science, and that's science. And it's just because you are a believer and you have problem, whether it's a stomachache, cancer, whatever it is, you're just gonna say, "Oh, I'm gonna pray about it, and it's gonna go away." No, He created science. He gave people the ability to be experts, so you can have access to the the healing that you need. So it is mental health. And I did it because, again, I didn't have the resources to pay for um, visits to go to a therapist or a psychologist. And I did what I did best. I know how to research. I know how to build things. I know how to build software. And I just started to build it for myself. I just needed the help. When
Hmm.
things are dark in the middle of the night, can't sleep, my ears are ringing, I am having panic attacks, feeling like pressure in my chest. I need to talk to someone, talk myself out of the edge. But at the same time, I don't want to put pressure on anyone else and to be a burden to anyone else. And how can I do that? And that's when I started to build a product. But through my life, I always feel like creating companies and creating ideas has been a path for me to kind of push the boundaries of like, how do you go from an idea or how do you go from 0 to 100 in a great place that where we live? Like you and I, we grew up in Mexico, and you don't. We in Mexico, we don't have that ability to like, hey, I have an idea for a product. I'm going to put together a company and I'm going to start commercializing that. Doesn't happen that easy.
No.
It takes a lot of time, takes a lot of resources, and most of it is just pure chaos.
Hmm.
So being incentivized by that opportunity, the dream that the sky's the limit forms part. But the other part really is if it doesn't exist, why have we created? It's
Yeah.
just an idea.
Right.
Push it forward. We never know where it's going to go.
We're talking innovation, but what I'm gathering is we're talking about mindset more than technology. So
Yes.
how can somebody who isn't perhaps in tech, like a parent, a teacher, a business owner, someone just trying to go through a hard season, begin to think more creatively about their own challenges?
It's hard because like you're so laser focused on what you're feeling, what you're experiencing,
Yeah.
that you just want it to end. That was me too. I
Yeah.
just wanted the pressure to end. I just wanted things to stabilize. And it's a desperation cry at that point. It's just like you just want it to end, and you can see that things will go south pretty fast. And so for anyone going on a similar situation, so what do you do? What can I do? It's just finding again what that light in you is. The, the details matter quite a bit. The little moments. It's those swiping through your camera roll on your phone and seeing the smiles of your little ones growing and
Hmm.
knowing that I was meant to be in this world for them. I was meant to be in this moment for them. So whatever it takes, whatever it means, I just need to support, or I just need to hold it one more night, one more day. I will do that. I just need to go. I don't have to see the very, very end. I just need to know that I'm sleeping tonight and tomorrow is another day. If it's going to be
Yep.
a bad day, at least I slept some sort of sleep and tomorrow I'm going to face it. If it's bad, it's going to end. There's an end to the day. It's just not letting those moments stay in your head forever.
Yes. Yes. So for someone listening who feels stuck professionally, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, what would you say about the relationship between trusting God and taking action? How do faith and innovation actually work together in life?
It's different for everybody. You were given the ability to do things. Um, I think like in those cases, it's just at any time look again at the end state that you want to see yourself. If you look at it as like, I just want to have a job. Okay. But that just, just one job, what does it mean? Does it mean that it will just cover the basics for my family, or does it mean that I'm going to lose pretty much contact with my family? You're
Mm,
desperate. I just need something to cover my mortgage, my rent. Otherwise, I won't have a home. You do. And you just got to go in desperate times to desperate actions. And the sad part of that is that sometimes we just get so stuck in that. Like, I just went into this job or role to cover my basic needs. And then after that, I couldn't do anything else. Don't stop. Keep finding what makes you you, what makes you so unique. Again, every one of us, we were created with something specific. Everyone has an idea.
mhm,
It's, you can ask like, hey, how do you build something? How do I can push it forward? Finding people that could connect you and say like, hey, we can actually build it together, or I can help in this way.
mhm,
Or just like, yeah, I really want to start a small business. What does that small business look like? No, I just want to clean sideways and clean driveways. Does it work? Yeah, it does work because I need someone to do it
right.
for me. I mean, it really is that sense that we're not doomed. And how do you feel? How do you pass that step outside of social media? We just kind of set the pause on seeing what the rest of the world is doing and just focus one moment at a time on ourselves. That's pretty much it. Um, Not following, more to listening to who we are, what we are trying to achieve, and really like what makes us like unique. Again, you can feel like the biggest piece of cold in this world. Like, well, I'm, I am as good as dirt. Not really. I mean, even dirt has a purpose. You
Mm,
grow plants. So
yeah.
if you feel, if you feel that low, and I get that we feel that low and we feel like we're nothing. But even in the nothing, there's always a lot. There's a whole ecosystem. So we're not done. Our lives, our worlds are not done until we breathe our last breath. So until then, it's another day. And even when everyone is against you, just keep going one more time. It will come back because that story will never end in the dark forest.
Yeah, the dark forest. In my own story, I've taken my challenges. Like you said, well, I need this, but it's not around. So let's do it, start it. It's been good to see that challenges are not the end of you. Challenges are an opportunity to look and do something about it. So
Yeah.
thank you for that reminder, Fernando.
Yeah. And I think the one part really like once you pass the challenge, and I think this is kind of like going back to the jobs illustration. Once you're out of the fire, remember that the fire will be there again and that you were put in the fire for a purpose. I
Hmm.
think this is another learning that I took from it. Not
Hmm.
because of sin. No. Daniel didn't do anything wrong to be in
Yeah.
the pit with the lions. Job didn't do anything wrong. They were there for a purpose because there's a greater purpose on the other side. And that's what we're there. But what I'm headed here is once you pass through those moments, it's the moment that you have to open the hand and really extend the hand to everyone else going through the same situations. Hey, if someone else needs the help, I knew how it felt being in that moment, in that situation. How can I extend the hand? Because we never know. So that is a responsibility. That is a part that the part that we need to be stewards. Once you go through the fire, you also lend a hand.
Yeah, it's a good reminder to not let your challenge. It never goes to waste, but to use it also to help others that will are going through the same. So
Yeah.
yes, thank you, Fernando. Do you have any closing comments or thoughts?
The closing comment and message is really in those days when you really feel at the very end, like I cannot see anything good happen. The good that is happening is that you're being transformed.
Mm.
And that is the greatest good that you can find yourself.
Mhm.
Imagine if you were not being transformed. Imagine that you don't go through the fire. That kind of worries me because that tells me that there is no purpose for me.
Mm.
The fact that I know that I'm going through the fire, that I'm being shaped, that I'm being molded for something greater,
Mhm.
tells me that there is a bigger purpose. I don't see it. I don't know it just yet, but I will know it.
Mhm.
It will come to us. So it is the fact that it's like I've been chosen for something more than just this. It's hard to process again when you're going through it because you just want the pain to stop. You just want the situations to go away and to have some level of normalcy. It does, but I think that's the training that you get by going through the fire. That
Mhm.
you get to see what others cannot see during that time, during the trial time, which again becomes your superpower too. Like you actually become someone to help others. That's your new superpower. That makes you a new level of professional that can actually bring an incredible amount of value.
Mhm.
So all in all, um, being through that journey, it really is for me defines who you are, defines your faith, defines your purpose, and the purpose that you have in the life of others, your immediate others, your kids,
Yeah.
your family.
Mhm.
And it's also defines, gives you purpose and defines how others in your community, in your world see you, and you radiate that energy. Feel proud that if you're going through it, hey, there's a purpose for me. There's a purpose for it. Not everybody gets chosen. So
Mm.
you'll be chosen for greater things. Follow
Yes.
through. Take it. Don't fight it. Learn to adapt. Learn to find your weak spots, to shape them better, to savor those moments. I think one thought on the whole process, it really, and also puts in perspective. I was talking to my parents the other day about this, is in those difficult times, I remember memorizing the smell of my kids' hairs and how they fall asleep or everything. And talking with my parents, are like, we wish we had more time with you guys. We wish that we can have them forever.
Mm.
It has given me that perspective that my kids will leave at some point, not because of any bad things, but they will grow up and it's helping me, it's preparing me to help them grow, to help them be prepared for this world outside for
Yeah.
them. So
Yeah.
uh, that was also another thing that I put me into perspective. And I just know like what we're doing today, they will be around. There will be your kids will be always your kids, but really it's that preparation ahead when they leave and when they start their own families, when they start their own journeys, and when they start on other paths. I mean, it will cement your relationship with them. It will cement how you interact with them. When we are not going through that fire, we lose our heads with them, and I still do. I still get like lose my mind with them. I'm like, you serious? Why are you wiping your nose and your arms and making a mess? But
Yeah.
what matters again is that they're seeing something different in you, and that's when you're there. It's just not just you. It really is the generation and the generation after your generation. So it is that blessing, really, for your kids and their kids and the kids after you. So
It gives you a purpose for every
it
day.
gives you purpose
That
to
every
it.
day matters.
Yeah,
Well, Fernando, thank you so
absolutely.
much for being part of this podcast.
Thank you for inviting me.
Friends, if you're in a hard season right now, remember, God is not absent in it. He is working in ways you may not see. Thanks for listening to episode number 17 of Ordinary Heroes.